Welcome to the High Level Playbook podcast. In 20 minutes or less, this show delivers the mindset shifts, frameworks, and strategies that will help you upgrade how you think, lead, and perform. This podcast is built for high achievers who refuses to stay where they are, and I am all about building leaders for what's next.
Made my own lane, no handouts here, vision too strong. Can't cloud it with fear, drop my past like a bad old habit. Now it's for only full speed, no static.
Welcome back, everyone. In today's episode, I am going to talk about change. To achieve quantum leap, to achieve massive results, you're going to have to change. And change is one of the hardest things. That's why most people, they can't achieve because they don't change. And I'm going to break it down for you. So today, the first thing that I want to talk about is quantum leap requires the paradoxical behavior. So what does that mean? That means you're going to get out of common sense. That means you're going to think illogically. Paradoxical behavior, thinking it's doing things that doesn't make sense, that no one's done before, but you know that that's probably the way to go, and it'll make sense along the way. Steve Jobs famously said, you cannot connect the dots looking forward, but you can looking backward. So you got to think differently. A new you is going to come out. You got to look at the pattern. You got to examine the pattern, what's working and what's not working. Because one thing I want you to know, common sense is going to give you common results. What got you here will not get you there. If you are looking to elevate, sometimes you do have to release the status quo. You do have to release the ego. You do have to look at what is ahead of you, where you are heading. And you got to do things differently. Sometimes it requires you to change your environment. For everyone, it's going to be different, but I will tell you a story. There's a fly, and then there's a window that is halfway shut. The fly is doing whatever it takes to get outside the house, but it keeps running and flying into the window, and it keeps bang, bang, bang. And then finally, the fly had to stop. It took a step back, way back, to look at what is going on, and he realized that there is a crack at the window. So what did he do? The fly flew out the window effortlessly. And that's what I want to highlight. In my book, Own Your Path, I talked about, there's a chapter about slow down to speed up. Okay? Why? Because sometimes we do need to take that time to clear our mind to see what is working and what is not. You're always looking for new ideas and new ways. Be ruthless about it. Okay, working harder is not the solution. In fact, when you work harder, you'll get burnout. What happened before isn't going to happen now or in the future, because I'm going to tell you the world is changing rapidly, especially now with AI. What's working 6 months ago is not working right now, right? But this is where I ask you to listen to your intuition and ignore the conventional approach. So let me tell you a story of my client. She's in finance. And in finance, a big bulk of a job is sales. She does financial insurance products. And when she first started in the business, she didn't know anyone. She didn't know how to sell. So she went through the training. And the training was call your friends, open up your book, something that was very conventional. I don't mind that because at least it gets people moving. But this is where I want you guys to pay attention. She started to think differently. She did everything, but it didn't feel in harmony with her. It didn't feel aligned. It felt like she was going against the current and not with the river. And that's when I want you to pay attention. When you are doing things and you're having that resistance, pay attention to that internal struggle, that feeling, because it's signaling to you. So what did she do? She actually got her first 100 client on social media. Right now, she is one of the top sales in her brokerage right now. So I bring this to you is because everyone was like, no, you can't make sales on social media. No one's going to listen to you. She didn't have any experience, but she said, this is what I was going to do. At the time, it was an unconventional approach. So everything that you do, remember, we are in this age of innovation. Okay, the space is crowded everywhere because right now, everyone has a voice. But how do you stand out? How do you focus on you? How do you create your quantum leap? This is where, write this down if you can, ruthless. Get very ruthless in trying new things. Get ruthless about it. Because what worked for someone else may not work for you, but it may. But every time when I'm doing something, when I have a goal that I know I'm going to achieve and I have set my heart to it, I try different ways. I don't stop until I get there. I don't stop until I see progress. If I'm trying too hard, I don't do it because it's not working. It's burning my energy. I'm getting burnouts. I'm getting low results. And most likely it's coming up with more problems, right? You see that in different industries. You see it in Toys R Us. You see it in Forever 21, Sears. These were big companies at once upon a time. Why did they not be able to evolve, and how did they bankrupt? Because they weren't able to keep up. They weren't able to adapt, right? Another very, very known story is BlackBerry. When BlackBerry at its high days, I don't know, you guys, I loved it. I loved the keypad. I loved the little computer thing, right? And they were doing great until iPhone came out. But they weren't able to adapt and they weren't able to innovate. So what happened? They're out of business. They're not here anymore. So what I'm saying right now is to achieve quantum leap, we got to think different. Don't be that fly trying to fly through the glass window when there's a glass in front of them. Be the person to be able to take time for yourself. Okay? Slow down to speed up. It's okay. So you could really think about what is the next step for you. Quantum leap also loves elegant solutions. So what does that mean? Simple, efficient, clear. Whatever that path is for you, it has to be simple, efficient, and clear. If it's too complex, if there's resistance, you got to listen to all of that. Yeah. Because one thing that I have learned is there's this thing called the effortless flow. And when you're in that mood, when you're in that state, everything starts to align. And this is where the stress goes away. This is where you feel more confident and you're in harmony. And this is where you trust the process. So these are the steps for quantum leap. And again, there is definitely more. In next episode, I am going to teach you how to do everything with the time that you have. So in other words, achieve more in less time. If you like what you heard so far, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and refer this to someone that you know could benefit for this. And I will see you guys in the next episode.